Reprogramming the subconscious is your ancient key to transformation. Here, you'll discover how the hidden beliefs within you have quietly written the story of your life. Now is the moment to rewrite that story and summon the reality you desire. Reprogramming the Subconscious. Introduction. Across the ages, wise ones have spoken in hushed tones of a hidden force, an unseen architect that silently shapes every moment of your life. This force is your subconscious mind, a boundless realm where every thought is a seed, and every seed inevitably bears fruit in the garden of your existence. The subconscious does not question, nor does it reason. It simply receives and brings forth what you impress upon it, whether in love or in fear. The circumstances you now inhabit, your relationships, your prosperity, even the rhythm of your days, are the harvest of beliefs long planted in this fertile inner soil. Picture it as an ancient well whose waters mirror the essence of what you have allowed to collect there. The same universal law that reflects scarcity when you dwell in lack will also pour forth abundance when you root yourself in truth. This is no punishment, but the perfect balance of cosmic order. Within this law lies your freedom. To reprogram the subconscious is to rewrite the script of your destiny, not by force, but through the quiet power of steady, unwavering intention. The key has always rested within you. Now, as you embark upon these sacred teachings, you will awaken to the art of impressing new patterns upon the silent depths, commanding your hidden mind to manifest a reality of your own divine choosing. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. Part 1. The Silent Architect Within. Chapter 1. The Seed Beneath the Soil. In a distant mountain village, there lived a young woman named Linnea who moved through life as though she were made of mist. Though beautiful and talented, she passed unnoticed through crowds, her voice unheard in conversations, her presence barely registering in the minds of others. From earliest childhood, when her parents gazed past her as though she were merely a shadow on the wall, she had absorbed the message: "You do not matter." The soil of Linnea's subconscious mind had been watered with these beliefs until they grew into towering trees of certainty, blocking out the light of her true nature. Just as the earth does not question which seeds to nurture, bringing forth flowers or weeds with equal dedication, your subconscious mind accepts and grows whatever is planted within it. A merchant named Franklin walked a similar path. His early years were marked by poverty and struggle, each failed venture reinforcing his belief that prosperity belonged to others, not to him. Yet one autumn morning, he encountered an ancient teaching that spoke of the mind as fertile soil, capable of growing new truths as easily as it had grown old limitations. Franklin began to tend his inner garden with fierce devotion. Where thoughts of lack had flourished, he planted seeds of abundance. Where doubt had spread its thorny vines, he sowed certainty. At first, nothing seemed to change, but the subconscious, like the earth itself, works in silent surety beneath the surface. Within months, opportunities began to bloom in Franklin's life as naturally as wildflowers in spring. Partnerships formed effortlessly, ventures succeeded with unexpected ease, and wealth flowed to him as though it had always been his natural state. He had not changed his actions so much as he had changed the soil from which all actions grew. Your subconscious mind holds this same power. It will manifest whatever you plant within it with unwavering fidelity. The thoughts you nurture today become the reality you experience tomorrow. Sacred practice. In the silence before sleep, when your conscious mind grows quiet and the subconscious lies open like freshly turned earth, choose a single word of power: worthy, abundant, loved, or any truth you wish to grow. Plant this word in the fertile soil of your mind, feeling its roots extend deep into your being. Let it rest there, knowing that like all seeds it will grow according to its nature. Each night, tend to this same word until its truth becomes as natural to you as breathing. The subconscious knows no resistance. It simply grows what you plant with conviction and care. Chapter 2. The Mirror with No Dust. In ages past, there lived a craftsman named Sven, whose skill with wood was unmatched in all the kingdom. His hands could coax beauty from the roughest timber, yet his heart harbored splinters of bitterness from past betrayals. With each remembered slight, each recalled injury, the fog of resentment grew thicker in his mind until it clouded everything he touched. Where once commissioners had sought his works from distant lands, now they passed his workshop without a glance. His masterpieces gathered dust, unseen and unwanted. The subconscious mind, that faithful mirror of inner truth, reflected his poisoned thoughts into the physical world with perfect accuracy. As his resentment grew, his prosperity withered, for the universe cannot distinguish between the seeds we plant intentionally and those we scatter in anger. In the same village dwelt a weaver named Maybelle. She too had known betrayal's sting, carried wounds that could have festered into permanent scars. Yet she discovered an ancient wisdom, that forgiveness was not a gift to others, but a cleansing of one's own mental mirror. Each evening, Maybelle would sit at her loom and, with each shuttle's pass, release another grievance into the void. As she cleared the dust of old hurts from her mind, her patterns grew more intricate, her colors more vibrant. Customers who had forgotten her existence suddenly remembered her skill. New opportunities appeared as naturally as dew forms on morning grass. The subconscious mind holds no opinion about what it reflects. It simply mirrors back whatever we present to it with perfect fidelity. When we polish its surface with forgiveness and clear intent, it cannot help but reflect back circumstances that match this clarity. Sacred practice. As you prepare for sleep each night, envision yourself before a magnificent mirror clouded by the dust of old resentments, past hurts, and lingering grievances. Take a soft cloth in your mind's eye and begin to polish this mirror with slow, deliberate strokes. With each pass, watch as another layer of mental dust dissolves away. Feel the release as old pains vanish into nothingness. Continue until your reflection shines back at you with pure, unblemished clarity. Notice how your true essence emerges as the mirror clears, radiant, whole, and unmarred by past experiences. This is not mere imagination, but the actual process of cleansing your subconscious mind. Just as a polished mirror cannot help but reflect light perfectly, a cleansed subconscious cannot help but attract circumstances that match its clarity. Maintain this practice until your inner mirror stays clear of its own accord, reflecting back only the pure light of your highest potential. The outer world has no choice but to reshape itself to match this new, unblemished reflection. Chapter 3. the river that remembers. There once lived a woman named Ingrid who worked diligently at her craft, yet money seemed to slip through her fingers like water through a sieve. Though skilled and dedicated, she found herself perpetually struggling, watching others prosper while she remained trapped in lack. Her mind had become a vessel filled with thoughts of never enough, and I can't afford it. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, brought her to an ancient teaching that would transform her understanding forever. Through meditation, she discovered that her consciousness was like a pipe clogged with years of limiting beliefs about money. Each fearful thought about scarcity had created another layer of obstruction, until the natural flow of abundance could barely trickle through. This truth stands eternal. The subconscious mind manifests precisely what it holds within. When your inner vessel is cluttered with thoughts of lack, the outer world must reflect that same restriction. Yet when you clear these channels, abundance flows as naturally as a river seeking the sea. Consider the tale of Orville, a merchant who once viewed wealth as something to chase and grasp. For years he struggled until he encountered wisdom that changed everything. Abundance is not something to pursue, but something to allow. Instead of forcing and striving, he began to see his imagination as the very current of prosperity itself. Each morning, Orville would sit in silence, feeling the flow of abundance moving through his mind like a mighty river. He stopped trying to control how money would come to him and simply trusted in the stream of infinite supply. Within months, opportunities began appearing effortlessly, as though carried to him by an invisible current. Your subconscious mind is this same river of abundance, waiting to be unclogged from the debris of past programming. When you trust in this flow, you align with the natural state of the universe, which is endless supply. The ancient practice of the Golden River. As you prepare for sleep each night, find a quiet moment to sit comfortably. Close your eyes and envision a serene river flowing with golden light. See this radiant stream carrying unlimited abundance directly into your open hands. Feel the warmth and weight of prosperity filling your palms, knowing that this river never ceases to flow. Let this image be the last thought you hold as you drift into sleep, allowing your subconscious to absorb this truth throughout the night. Chapter 4. The Quiet Loom. A weaver lived in a small mountain village, tending her loom with mechanized motions that spoke of duty rather than joy. Each day she created serviceable cloth, believing herself incapable of the vibrant patterns other artisans produced. "My hands know only straight lines," she would say, her fingers moving in the same rigid patterns she had learned as a child. Like this weaver, you may have accepted limitations that were never truly yours. The subconscious mind weaves patterns of thought into the fabric of your experience, creating a tapestry that becomes your visible reality. When you believe, "I am not creative," or "I lack artistic ability," these thoughts become the threads that shape your life's design. The universe operates as a cosmic loom, responding to the patterns you hold within. Your subconscious mind serves as the shuttle, carrying threads of thought back and forth until they form the fabric of your experience. Each belief you harbor becomes a color in your life's tapestry, each thought a thread in the greater design. In the mountains, the weaver's transformation began when she witnessed a butterfly emerging from its chrysalis. The creature's wings displayed patterns of such intricate beauty that she wept, suddenly understanding that nature itself was an endless dance of creativity. That night, she dreamed of colors she had never dared to use, of patterns that flowed like water over stone. The next morning, she approached her loom differently. Instead of seeing it as a tool of labor, she recognized it as an instrument of expression. Her hands, once bound by doubt, began to move with newfound freedom. The patterns that emerged were unlike anything she had created before, not because she had learned new techniques, but because she had released the beliefs that bound her. This same transformation awaits you. The patterns you see in your life, in relationships, in work, in creative expression, are not fixed designs, but fluid possibilities. Your subconscious mind stands ready to weave new patterns the moment you release limiting beliefs. Ancient practice. Each morning, before the sun fully rises, sit quietly and envision yourself before a vast cosmic loom. See threads of light flowing through your fingers, each one carrying the color of your choosing. Feel the power of creation moving through you as you weave these threads into the fabric of your day. Let your hands move freely, guided by inner wisdom rather than outer constraints. Know that as you weave light and color into this ethereal tapestry, you are literally programming new patterns into your subconscious mind. Feel the joy of creation unfold from your fingertips, knowing that the universe itself responds to this sacred act of conscious creation. Chapter 5. The Lantern in the Fog. In the depths of an ancient forest, a hermit named Arvid lived in self-imposed isolation. Each morning he would gaze at his reflection in a stream, seeing only shadows where others saw light. Though blessed with wisdom and talent, his gifts remained veiled behind a mist of uncertainty that he himself had conjured. The more Arvid questioned his worth, the thicker the fog grew around his dwelling. Travelers who might have benefited from his knowledge could no longer find their way to his door. Opportunities that once flourished in his presence now withered before reaching him. His doubt had become a living thing, spreading its tendrils through every aspect of his existence. In the same forest lived June, a weaver who had once known similar shadows. Yet she discovered that within her subconscious dwelt an eternal flame, one that needed only recognition to burn bright. Each dawn she would speak words of power into the silence. I am light. I am clarity. I am purpose manifest. At first, these declarations felt hollow, mere echoes in the forest's vastness. But June persisted, understanding that the subconscious mind responds not to the volume of our words, but to their unwavering repetition. As seasons turned, June's inner light grew stronger. The fog that had once obscured her path dissolved, revealing opportunities that had always existed but remained hidden. Her weaving took on new life, each thread seeming to glow with an inner radiance that drew admirers from distant lands. Arvid observed this transformation from afar. One morning, watching June tend her inner flame, he realized that his doubt was not a prison, but a veil he could choose to lift. The fog around his dwelling began to thin, not through force, but through the simple act of acknowledging his own inner light. This tale speaks to the power dwelling within your subconscious mind. Like Arvid, you may have created mists of uncertainty that obscure your true potential. Like June, you hold the power to dispel these shadows through conscious, dedicated practice. The practice. As each new day dawns, Find a quiet moment for this sacred ritual. Visualize yourself holding a lantern, its flame steady and bright. Watch as its light grows stronger, pushing back the morning mist. Feel the warmth of clarity spreading through your being as the fog dissolves, revealing a path ahead, your path, open and radiant. Let this vision sink into your subconscious, knowing that as you repeat this practice, the fog of doubt will thin, leaving only the clear light of certainty to guide your way. Chapter 6. The Garden Behind the Gate. In a quiet village among ancient hills, there lived a woman named Florence who spent her days gazing at distant horizons, convinced that somewhere out there lay the opportunities she sought. Each morning, she would climb the highest hill, straining her eyes toward far-off cities, believing success and abundance existed only in those unreachable places. Like many who walk this earthly path, Florence had forgotten the greatest truth. The universe places its most precious gifts not in distant lands, but in the sacred soil of your own inner garden, the subconscious mind, that mystical realm where thoughts take root and bloom into reality, holds every seed of possibility within its fertile ground. As Florence learned the ancient art of turning inward, she discovered a garden gate she had passed 1,000 times without seeing. Beyond it lay not the weeds of lack she had feared, but roses of opportunity, lilies of abundance, and the sweet fruit of prosperity, all waiting for her recognition. This mirrors the eternal truth that has guided masters through the ages. What appears in your outer world first grows in the garden of your inner thoughts. When you tend this garden with care, removing the thorns of doubt and watering the seeds of possibility, your outer world must transform to match its beauty. Lester, a humble craftsman, learned this wisdom through his own journey. For years he crafted beautiful works while believing himself unworthy of true success. His inner gate remained locked by his own hand, until one day he discovered the key of self-worth buried in his pocket all along. The moment Lester stepped through that gate, accepting his worthiness as naturally as a flower accepts sunlight, the universe responded with stunning swiftness. Clients who had once haggled over prices now gladly paid his true value. Opportunities that had seemed forever closed suddenly opened wide. His craft, already beautiful, took on new dimensions of mastery. What changed? Not his skill, which had always been exceptional. Not his outer actions, which remained largely the same. What transformed was the garden of his subconscious mind, where unworthiness had been uprooted and replaced with the knowing of his true value. The ancient practice of the garden gate. Find a quiet moment as the sun rises or sets. Close your eyes and breathe deeply, allowing your awareness to turn inward. Picture before you an ornate gate, its metalwork intricate with symbols of abundance. Feel the weight of the key in your hand, the key of worthiness that has always been yours. Insert this key into the lock, hearing it turn with a satisfying click. As the gate swings open, step through into your inner garden. Notice how the air here sparkles with possibility. See the abundant flowers of opportunity blooming naturally, without effort. Touch the rich soil of your subconscious mind, feeling how eagerly it grows, whatever you plant within it. Breathe in the sweet fragrance of prosperity that permeates this sacred space. Know that this garden is yours to tend, yours to nurture, yours to harvest from. As you open your eyes, carry this knowing with you. The treasures you seek have always grown within. Chapter 7. The Echo of the Well. In the days of old, there lived a young woman named Dagny, who spent her nights whispering wishes to the stars. Each evening she would climb to the highest hill in her village and speak her dreams into the darkness. Yet, no matter how fervently she wished, her desires seemed to dissolve into the night air, leaving no trace of their passage. What Dagny failed to understand was that her words carried a hidden vibration, one of doubt and disbelief. Each time she voiced her desires, her inner voice whispered, "These words will never reach their destination." And so they didn't, for the universe responds not to the words we speak, but to the energy we transmit. The subconscious mind acts as an infinite echo chamber, amplifying and returning whatever signal we send into its depths. When you cast doubt into this sacred space, doubt multiplies and returns as circumstances that justify your uncertainty. Your inner chamber knows no difference between what you want and what you believe. It simply magnifies the predominant frequency of your thoughts. Consider the tale of Truman, a humble craftsman who discovered this truth through his own journey. While others spoke of his talents with dismissal, he began to speak to himself with unwavering confidence. Each morning, before touching his tools, he would stand in silence and feel the certainty of his success coursing through his being. He didn't merely wish for recognition. He lived in the awareness that his excellence was already acknowledged. Soon, his work began to attract attention from unexpected quarters. Merchants who had once passed his shop without a glance now stopped to marvel at his creations. His reputation spread not through his effort to be heard, but through the natural echo of his inner certainty. This is the way of the subconscious. It amplifies whatever we plant within it. Like a well that returns our voice multiplied, it takes our deepest beliefs and manifests them in the physical world. When you speak with doubt, the universe must doubt you in return. When you speak with certainty, the universe has no choice but to reflect that certainty back to you in tangible form. The power lies not in the volume of your voice, but in the conviction with which you speak to your inner self. Each thought you think, each word you speak to yourself, creates ripples in the infinite well of possibility. These ripples return as waves of manifestation, carrying back to you the exact frequency you sent forth. Sacred practice. Find a quiet moment as the sun rises or sets. Close your eyes and imagine standing before a deep, ancient well. Feel its cool stones beneath your hands. Sense its bottomless depth before you. Now, speak your heart's desire into this well, not as a plea, but as a declaration. Listen as your words echo back to you, growing stronger and more certain with each reverberation. Let each echo fill you with the knowledge that your desire is already moving toward manifestation. Practice this daily, allowing each echo to strengthen your conviction until doubt has no choice but to dissolve in the face of your certainty. Chapter 8. The Golden Key. In a village among ancient hills lived a woman named Greta, who spent her days pacing before locked doors. Each portal she encountered seemed sealed against her desires, barred by invisible forces she could not comprehend. She would stand before opportunities, hands trembling, convinced that fate had forgotten to give her the key to unlock her dreams. Through the whispers of your own experience, you know this feeling, the sensation that abundance, joy, and fulfillment lie just beyond a door you cannot open. Yet the truth remains. No external force holds the power to bar your path. The key to every locked door already rests within your grasp, fashioned from the gold of your own consciousness. Consider the transformation of Milton, a merchant who once believed success was a fortress he could not enter. For years, he searched the marketplace for the perfect opportunity, the right connection, the magical circumstance that would grant him passage to prosperity. Yet with each step, he found only locked doors and empty corridors. Until one dawn, as he sat in quiet contemplation, wisdom stirred within him. The key he sought had never been lost. It had always rested in the pocket of his consciousness, waiting to be acknowledged. With this recognition, Milton began to walk differently through the world. Where once he had approached each door with hesitation, he now moved with the quiet certainty of one who carries the master key to every lock. The subconscious mind holds this truth. When you believe a door is locked, it becomes impenetrable. Yet when you know, with unshakable conviction, that you possess the key, every door swings open at your approach. This is not metaphor, but mechanism, the precise operation of universal law. Your subconscious does not recognize the difference between a physical key and the golden key of belief. It responds only to your deepest conviction. When you move through life knowing that every door opens easily for you, the universe must rearrange itself to match this inner knowing. The golden key is not a tool you must forge. It is a truth you must remember. Every dream you hold, every goal you envision, every destiny you seek to fulfill, the key to their manifestation already rests within your consciousness. Your task is not to search for it, but to acknowledge its presence. Sacred practice. As you prepare for rest each night, sit quietly in the sanctuary of your own presence. Close your physical hand, feeling the weight and warmth of an invisible golden key resting in your palm. Let this key become real to you, not as an object, but as the living symbol of your divine right to fulfillment. Speak these words with quiet authority. Every door opens easily for me. The key to all good lies within my consciousness. Feel the absolute truth of these words settling into your being. Let this knowing be the last thought you carry into sleep, allowing your subconscious to work through the night, unlocking every door that once seemed sealed against you. Chapter 9. The Clock Without Hands. In ancient times, there lived a merchant named Hugo who measured each heartbeat against the turning of time. His days were a frantic dance with the clock, his nights spent in anxious calculation of hours until dawn. Though his warehouse overflowed with precious goods, his inner storehouse was empty, drained by the constant fear that time was slipping through his fingers like sand. Hugo's desperate race against time manifested in missed connections and lost opportunities. When potential buyers approached, his hurried manner and scattered attention drove them away. The more he chased time, the more it seemed to evade him, until his business teetered on the edge of ruin. In the same marketplace dwelt Pearl, a maker of fine silks. Her fingers moved with unhurried grace as she wove threads of gold and silver into magnificent patterns. Customers found themselves drawn to her peaceful presence, and her business flourished without strain or struggle. Her secret lay not in racing against time, but in aligning with its natural flow. The universe operates on divine timing, a rhythm far more sophisticated than the mechanical ticking of clocks. When you release your grip on time, surrendering to the wisdom of the infinite, you enter a state of timeless alignment. In this space, everything you need arrives precisely when it should, not a moment too early or too late. Your subconscious mind exists outside the bounds of linear time. It dwells in an eternal now, where past, present, and future merge into one continuous stream of creation. When you program your subconscious to trust in perfect timing, you free yourself from the exhausting chase that Hugo endured. Pearl understood this truth at the deepest level. She had trained her subconscious to remain centered in timeless awareness. Each morning, she would sit in quiet contemplation, allowing her mind to expand beyond the artificial constraints of hours and minutes. In this state of peaceful surrender, she accessed a deeper current of time where all things flowed naturally toward their fulfillment. As she worked, Pearl noticed opportunities appearing effortlessly, a merchant arriving just as she completed a special piece, or a royal messenger seeking her services precisely when she had capacity to fulfill a large order. She never rushed, never worried, never pushed against the natural unfolding of events. Her subconscious alignment with divine timing created a life of graceful synchronicity. Ancient practice. Close your eyes and envision a clock face before you. Watch as the hands dissolve, leaving only the pristine circle. Feel yourself stepping into this timeless space where all things arrive in perfect sequence. Let your breath deepen as you release the habit of hurry. Know that your subconscious mind is now programmed for divine timing, attracting all good things at exactly the right moment. Rest in this awareness for several minutes, allowing the feeling of peaceful trust to permeate your being. Chapter 10. The Lighthouse Within. In the quiet hours before dawn, a weathered fishing vessel battled tempestuous waves. The captain, an experienced sailor named Astrid, gripped the wheel with white knuckles, her eyes straining against the darkness. For years, she had navigated life just as she now navigated these waters, through sheer force of will, fighting against every current, exhausting herself in constant vigilance against imagined disasters. The same pattern played out in her daily existence. Each opportunity seemed to require tremendous effort. Each success felt like a desperate struggle against overwhelming odds. "Life shouldn't be this hard," she would whisper to herself, yet she knew no other way. In a distant port lived Vernon, also a ship's captain. While others anxiously tracked weather patterns and worried over tide charts, Vernon had discovered a different way. He understood that the universe operated like the ancient lighthouse that stood sentinel over his harbor, unwavering, constant, and eternally guiding those who knew how to read its signals. Vernon had learned to align his inner beacon with the greater light. Instead of chasing after opportunities or forcing his way through storms, he cultivated a deep, steady radiance within himself. Like the lighthouse, whose beam cut through the darkest night, Vernon's inner light drew exactly what he needed toward him. Ships seeking safe harbor naturally found their way to his dock. Lucrative contracts arrived without struggle. Even in the fiercest storms, he maintained his center, knowing that his inner lighthouse would never fail him. The art of attraction, you see, is not about the frantic search or the desperate grasp. It is about becoming the lighthouse, stable, bright, and trustworthy. Just as ships naturally navigate toward a strong beam cutting through darkness, so too does abundance naturally flow toward those who maintain their inner light. This truth transcends metaphor. Your consciousness is quite literally a beacon, broadcasting its signal into the vast ocean of possibility. When you operate from fear and struggle, like Astrid, you become like a ship lost in a storm, expending precious energy fighting against the very forces that could assist you. But when you stand firm in your inner power, like Vernon, you become a point of attraction, drawing toward you all that resonates with your frequency of peace and certainty. The lighthouse never chases ships. It never doubts its purpose or questions its worth. It simply stands, shines, and serves, and in that unwavering presence, it fulfills its highest function. Ancient practice. As you prepare for rest each night, close your eyes and envision a mighty lighthouse within your chest. Feel its foundation, solid, unshakable, extending deep into the earth. See its brilliant beams sweeping across the horizons of your life, steady and true. Know that this light is your natural state, your birthright. Feel how it draws all good things toward you effortlessly, naturally, just as a lighthouse guides ships to safe harbor. Let this image be the last thought in your mind as you drift into sleep, knowing that even as you rest, your inner lighthouse continues its eternal vigil, attracting all that serves your highest good. Part 2. The Power of Inner Recalibration. Chapter 11. The Hidden Compass. In an ancient village among mist-shrouded mountains, there lived a young woman named Signy. Each morning she would stand at crossroads, paralyzed by indecision. She sought counsel from every passing stranger, collected opinions like fallen leaves, yet remained lost in the maze of other people's directions. "Which path should I take?" she would ask the village elders, merchants, and travelers. Each offered different advice, and Signy's confusion only deepened. She kept detailed maps of others' journeys, hoping their successes would illuminate her way. But the more guidance she gathered, the more tangled her path became. In the same village lived a quiet craftsman named Clyde. While others rushed to and fro seeking external signs and validation, he moved with peaceful certainty. He didn't consult elaborate maps or seek endless opinions. Instead, each morning he would place his hands upon his heart and listen to the gentle pull of his inner knowing. When opportunities arose, Clyde didn't analyze them to exhaustion or seek consensus from others. He simply tuned into his internal compass, and the right direction revealed itself naturally. His business flourished, relationships deepened, and life flowed with remarkable ease, not because he had special advantages, but because he trusted the wisdom within. This truth reverberates through the ages. Direction cannot be found in the chaos of external voices or the maze of others' expectations. The universe has planted within you a perfect compass, calibrated to your unique path and purpose. When you learn to trust this inner guidance system, the fog of uncertainty lifts, and your way forward becomes clear. Think of your heart as a sacred compass, ever pointing toward your highest good. Unlike physical compasses that orient to magnetic north, your inner compass aligns with truth, purpose, and abundance. It speaks not through loud proclamations, but through quiet certainty, not through fear, but through peace. The noise of the world, its endless opinions, judgments, and directions, can drown out this subtle guidance. Like Signy, you may have learned to distrust your own knowing, to seek validation from every source except the one that matters most. But wisdom has always resided within you, waiting patiently for you to remember its presence. Just as a compass needle trembles before settling into perfect alignment with magnetic north, your inner knowing may initially waver as you learn to trust it again. This is natural. The key is not to seek perfect clarity before taking action, but to move forward with faith in your internal guidance system. Ancient practice. Find a quiet moment in your day, away from the clamor of external voices. Place your hands gently upon your heart, feeling its steady rhythm beneath your palms. Take 3 deep, conscious breaths, allowing each exhale to carry away doubt and confusion. Now, envision a luminous compass within your chest, its needle glowing with golden light. Watch as it turns, smooth and certain, pointing toward perfect peace. Sit with this image, allowing its clarity to fill you. Know that this compass never fails, never loses its way. It is your direct connection to universal wisdom, always guiding you toward your highest good. Chapter 12. The Bridge of Belief. In ancient times, a wise teacher told of Ebba, a talented weaver who created the most beautiful tapestries in her village. Though her hands held remarkable skill, her heart trembled with uncertainty. At each decision point in her life, she would pause, paralyzed by visions of failure. Her dreams, though vibrant in her imagination, seemed to fade when faced with the challenge of bringing them into reality. The art of manifestation flows not from the external world, but from the unwavering certainty that resides within. Your subconscious mind builds the very path you walk upon. When doubt clouds your inner vision, the bridge before you appears fragile and uncertain. Yet, when you plant your feet with absolute knowing, the universe itself strengthens your path. Ralph, a humble carpenter, understood this truth without needing words to express it. Where others saw impossible gaps between their present reality and desired future, he recognized only temporary distances to be bridged by belief. His subconscious mind held no concept of failure, only varying degrees of success waiting to unfold. Each morning, as he walked to his workshop, Ralph felt the solid ground beneath his feet as a confirmation of his inner certainty. His projects flourished, his reputation grew, and opportunities emerged as naturally as leaves sprouting from fertile soil. The bridge of his life grew stronger with each step, supported by the invisible but powerful pillars of his conviction. The truth remains eternal. Your subconscious mind constructs the bridge between your current circumstances and your destined fulfillment. When you step forward with doubt, the structure seems to sway. When you advance with certainty, it becomes as solid as ancient stone. Those who hesitate at life's crossroads often believe they await external permission or perfect conditions. Yet the bridge has always existed within, waiting only for your recognition. Your subconscious mind holds the blueprint for every dream you wish to manifest. It requires only your unwavering belief to transform these blueprints into reality. Ebba eventually discovered that her fears were merely shadows cast by unexamined thoughts. As she began trusting her inner wisdom, her steps grew more assured. The very fabric of her reality seemed to strengthen beneath her renewed conviction. Where once she saw only precarious paths, she now recognized solid ground waiting to support her journey. This wisdom extends to you now. The bridge to your desires stands complete within your subconscious mind. Each step you take with certainty reinforces its structure. Every moment of doubt merely obscures the solid foundation that already exists. Ancient practice. As the sun rises each morning, stand quietly and center yourself. Imagine a golden bridge extending from where you are to where you wish to be. Feel its solid structure beneath your feet, knowing it grows stronger with each confident step. Walk this bridge in your mind, sensing the absolute certainty that it will support your journey. Let this practice remind you that your path is already complete within your subconscious mind, waiting only for your faithful steps forward. Chapter 13. The Crystal Lake. A merchant in a distant land cast stones of worry into a pristine lake each morning, watching the ripples disturb its surface. With each pebble, financial fears, relationship doubts, health concerns, the waters grew more turbulent until he could no longer see his reflection. Day after day, he returned to cast his stones of anxiety, never realizing he himself created the chaos that clouded his vision. Your mind, like that sacred lake, reflects back precisely what you cast into it. When you throw thoughts of worry into your subconscious waters, they ripple outward, touching every shore of your experience. These ripples multiply, creating waves that disturb your peace and obscure the clarity that lies naturally beneath. The universe operates through perfect reflection, not as punishment or reward, but as the purest mirror of your inner state. When your subconscious waters are troubled, the world appears through ripples of distortion. Each anxious thought sends forth waves that return to you as seemingly random obstacles and complications. Yet within you lies the power to still these waters. Just as a lake naturally returns to calm when left undisturbed, your mind seeks its original state of peace. The law of attraction responds not to the surface ripples of momentary thoughts, but to the deep, still waters of your subconscious beliefs. Ancient wisdom whispers that true power lies not in controlling the waves, but in becoming the stillness itself. When you cease casting stones of worry into your mental waters, clarity emerges effortlessly. Your reflection becomes true, and the universe mirrors back this clarity in all your affairs. Consider the merchant who learned to sit quietly beside his lake each morning, simply watching its surface grow calm. As his inner waters cleared, so too did his outer world. Opportunities appeared with natural grace, relationships harmonized, and abundance flowed as easily as water finding its level. This truth rings through the ages. Your subconscious mind, like the surface of still waters, must reflect precisely what hovers above it. Choose thoughts of peace and watch as your world transforms to match this tranquil frequency. Let the ancient practice guide you now. Find a quiet moment each day to visualize stepping into a crystal lake. Feel the cool waters welcome you, washing away every worry and concern. Watch as ripples of anxiety dissolve into perfect stillness. In this sacred practice, you become one with the calm waters, and your world must shift to reflect this newfound serenity. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. The Invisible Architect. In a distant village, there lived a potter named Selma, whose workshop mirrored the turmoil in her mind. Clay vessels sat unfinished, glazes dried forgotten, and tools lay scattered without purpose. "Life is chaos," she would say, watching her creations crack in the kiln. "Nothing ever goes as planned." Day after day, Selma's work reflected her inner disorder. Orders arrived late, Customers drifted away, and her once renowned pottery became known for its unpredictable quality. She accepted this as her fate, believing herself powerless against the random currents of existence. The universe speaks in patterns, not chaos. Within your mind lies a master architect, sketching the blueprint of your reality with every thought, belief, and expectation. Your subconscious mind creates order from seeming randomness, manifesting outer circumstances that match your inner convictions. Chester, a master craftsman, understood this truth. Where others saw chance, he recognized design. Each morning he would sit in silence, allowing his mind to settle like still water. In this clarity, he witnessed how his thoughts shaped his circumstances, as surely as his hands shaped clay. The world arranges itself according to your deepest beliefs, he often shared. When you expect disorder, chaos becomes your companion. When you embrace order, the universe aligns to match your vision. Chester's workshop flourished not through force, but through alignment. His creations emerged in perfect timing, his supplies arrived when needed, and his customers found him as naturally as rivers flow to the sea. He had discovered that external order springs from internal harmony. This truth extends beyond pottery. It touches every aspect of existence. Your life is not a series of random events, but a precise reflection of your subconscious patterns. When you believe in chaos, chaos manifests. When you trust in order, order prevails. The power to reshape your reality lies in recognizing this connection. Your subconscious mind is perpetually drawing the plans that your outer world must follow. Every thought is a line on this blueprint. Every belief, a foundation upon which your experiences are built. Ancient practice of divine design. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Imagine holding a quill filled with luminous golden ink. Before you stretches the canvas of your consciousness. Begin to draw the plans of your desired reality, not with force, but with gentle certainty. See each line glowing with possibility, each curve radiating with potential. Feel the universe responding to your design, eager to transform these golden blueprints into tangible form. Know that what you sketch in this sacred space must, by universal law, manifest in your outer world. Practice this visualization each evening, watching as your life gradually transforms to match your inner architecture. Chapter 15. The Song of the Heart. In a distant mountain village there lived a woman named Alma who moved through life with silent footsteps, afraid that her joy might disturb others. Each morning she woke to birdsong but closed her windows, believing her own happiness must be contained, controlled, diminished. The world, she thought, had no space for her music. Yet the universe operates through vibration. Every thought, every feeling resonates outward like ripples in an infinite ocean. When you suppress your natural frequency of joy, you instruct the subconscious to create a muted existence. Your inner architect begins building walls instead of windows, caves instead of gardens. Irving understood this truth. Living in the same village, he allowed his inner music to flow freely. While tending his garden, he hummed. While walking to market, he whistled. His joy became a constant companion, and gradually the world began to echo his melody. Neighbors smiled more in his presence. Opportunities arose as if drawn to his frequency. Even his plants seemed to grow more vibrantly, responding to the song in his heart. The subconscious mind is an instrument of infinite possibility. When you allow it to vibrate with authentic joy, you become a tuning fork for universal harmony. Your inner architect begins designing spaces filled with light, structures that welcome abundance, pathways that lead to unexpected blessings. Life itself is a symphony waiting for your unique note. The walls you build within become the boundaries you experience without. The songs you silence within become the opportunities that pass you by. But when you grant yourself permission to resonate with joy, the universe has no choice but to orchestrate circumstances that match your melody. Alma watched as Irving's life blossomed. One day, she understood. Her joy wasn't a disruption but a necessary note in the universal symphony. As she gradually allowed herself to hum, to smile, to radiate her natural brightness, her world transformed. The inner architect, finally given permission to work with light instead of shadows, began redesigning her reality according to the blueprint of her authentic self. Ancient practice. Find a quiet space and sit comfortably. Begin to hum softly, any tone that feels natural. As you hum, hold thoughts of love and gratitude in your heart. Feel the vibration in your chest, your throat, your whole being. Imagine this sound merging with the vast symphony of the universe, your personal note joining the cosmic orchestra. Practice this for several minutes each morning, allowing your joy to become a beacon that guides the architect within. Chapter 16. The Vault of Silence. In the quietest chambers of an ancient temple, a young woman named Kerstin spent her days filling every moment with noise. She played music constantly, spoke endlessly, and surrounded herself with the clamor of activity. The silence terrified her, for in it she imagined only absence and loss. In the same temple dwelled Floyd, an elder who moved with serene grace. While others rushed and chattered, he embraced the spaces between sounds. In stillness, he discovered an invisible fountain of abundance, flowing ceaselessly within. The truth stands unveiled before you now. Silence is not empty, but rather the sacred vessel that holds all creation. When you flee from quietude, you run from the very source of your power. The universe speaks not in thunder, but in whispers, and its greatest gifts await in the depths of stillness. Your subconscious mind requires moments of pure silence to attune to the frequency of abundance. Like a lake that must be still to reflect the stars above, your inner world needs peaceful spaces to mirror the infinite possibilities that surround you. Each time you resist silence, you create static that drowns out the universe's gentle guidance. Think of silence as the soil where all manifestation takes root. Just as a seed requires darkness and stillness to sprout, your desires need quiet moments to germinate in the fertile ground of your subconscious. The noise of doubt, fear, and endless activity only scatters these seeds before they can take root. When Floyd taught Kirsten to sit in silence, she discovered that the quiet held neither emptiness nor loss, but rather a vast treasury of untapped potential. In stillness, she found herself connected to an endless stream of abundance, wisdom, and peace. Her outer world transformed as she learned to draw from this infinite well within. You, too, possess this internal vault of riches, waiting in silence for your discovery. The wealth you seek exists first in the quiet spaces of your being, before manifesting in the material world. By entering stillness, you align with the natural state of abundance that is your birthright. The practice of inner wealth. Sit quietly for 3 minutes daily, entering an inner vault, and discover its treasures of peace. Let your breath become soft and natural, like gentle waves on a shore. Feel yourself surrounded by golden light that fills every cell of your being. In this sacred silence, know that you rest in the very treasury of the universe, where all abundance originates. Chapter 17. The Thread of Gold. In a remote mountain village, a weaver named Signa sat before her loom, her fingers trembling as she worked. Though her skills were admired throughout the land, a deep sense of uncertainty plagued her every movement. Each time she began a new pattern, doubt crept in like morning frost, causing her threads to tangle and her designs to lose their way. Her life, like her weaving, felt as though it was coming apart at the seams. In the same village lived Haroldine, whose simple tapestries brought light to all who beheld them. While others marveled at her creations, few understood the secret of her artistry. She had discovered that joy itself was a golden thread, invisible to the eye, yet stronger than the finest silk. This thread, she knew, wove through every moment, every breath, every heartbeat. The truth shimmers before you now. Your subconscious mind holds an eternal thread of joy, waiting to be woven into the fabric of your existence. This thread cannot break or fray. It remains whole and perfect, even when you cannot see it. Your task is not to create this thread, but to recognize its presence and allow it to guide your hands. When you resist this inner thread, life appears to unravel. Yet the moment you trust its gentle pull, reality begins to arrange itself in patterns of unexpected beauty. Like a master weaver following an ancient design, your subconscious mind knows exactly how to create the tapestry of your highest good. Haroldine understood that joy was not something to chase or manufacture. Instead, she simply held awareness of the golden thread already present within her. As she worked, she allowed this thread to guide her fingers, to choose the colors, to determine the patterns. Soon, her entire life began to mirror the beauty of her weaving. Opportunities appeared like perfectly placed stitches. Relationships blossomed in harmonious designs, and abundance flowed in natural rhythms. Watching Haroldines' transformation, Sina learned that her own struggles came from fighting against the natural pattern of her life. When she finally surrendered to the thread of joy within her, her work transformed. No longer did she force each stitch or question each choice. Instead, she moved in fluid harmony with an inner wisdom that had always been present. You, too, possess this golden thread within you. It runs through every experience, every challenge, every triumph. When you align with it, life ceases to be a struggle and becomes a graceful unfolding. Your task is not to control the pattern, but to trust the wisdom that weaves through your being. The practice of the golden thread. Imagine holding a single golden thread, weaving it into all your activities with gentle confidence. Feel its warmth in your hands, its subtle guidance in your movements. Let this thread connect each moment to the next, creating a tapestry of harmony and purpose. Trust that this thread of joy knows the perfect pattern for your life, leading you exactly where you need to be. Chapter 18. The Doorway of Yes. In the quiet hills beyond the village lived an old weaver named Myrta. Each day she worked her loom with practiced skill, yet remained poor despite her mastery. Merchants praised her craft but offered meager payment, which she accepted without protest. When neighboring artisans suggested she join the guild or sell at the royal market, she found reasons to decline. "I am not worthy of such grand venues," she would say, or "those opportunities are meant for others." The thread of abundance wove through her life, yet she remained blind to its golden shimmer. Her reluctance was not a conscious choice, but rather the work of an inner pattern that whispered no to life's offerings before they could fully manifest. In the same village lived Roscoe, a humble potter whose works once drew little notice. But Roscoe discovered an ancient truth. The universe responds not to our words alone, but to the whispers of our innermost being. He began each morning touching his clay with reverence, whispering yes to the creative force flowing through his hands. When opportunity knocked, a chance to teach, an invitation to showcase his work, his inner voice responded with unwavering acceptance. The law of attraction works through this subtle thread of inner consent. When you say yes within, the universe mirrors that acceptance in the outer world. Your subconscious mind holds no concept of impossibility. It simply responds to the patterns you weave through your beliefs and expectations. Like a golden thread catching morning light, this power of inner acceptance illuminates every corner of existence. It transforms not through force or struggle, but through the gentle art of allowing. Each yes you whisper to life becomes a strand in the fabric of your destiny. The universe constantly extends its golden threads of opportunity, weaving them before you in countless patterns of potential. But only those recognized and accepted by your inner being can manifest in your physical reality. This is why two people facing the same circumstance often experience entirely different outcomes. One sees and grasps the golden thread, while another remains unaware of its presence. Your subconscious mind is the master weaver of your experience, transforming these threads of possibility into the tapestry of your life. When you align your inner acceptance with your desires, you create a pattern of expansion that the universe must follow. The ancient practice of inner acceptance. Find a quiet moment as the sun rises. Stand before an imagined doorway of radiant light. Feel its warmth touching your face, its glow illuminating your path forward. With each breath, draw that light deeper into your being. Then, with the power of inner knowing, whisper these words, "Yes, I am ready." Let this acceptance fill every cell of your body, every corner of your consciousness. The universe awaits your consent to deliver its boundless gifts. Chapter 19. The Fire in Cold Ashes. In a small village among ancient hills, there lived a woman named Britta who once danced with boundless joy. As years passed, her steps grew heavy, her smile dimmed, and the fire that once burned bright within her heart flickered dangerously low. "Perhaps this is what growing older means," she whispered to herself, accepting the gradual extinguishing of her inner light. Each morning she would wake to tend her garden, yet even the vibrant blooms failed to stir her spirit. The colors seemed muted, the fragrances less sweet. Her subconscious mind had woven a veil of resignation around her soul, convincing her that passion belonged to youth alone. In the same village lived Amos, a potter whose hands had shaped clay for decades. One dawn, as he sat at his wheel, something stirred within him. A remembrance of the first time he had touched clay, the thrill of creation that had coursed through his veins. Instead of dismissing this memory, he welcomed it. allowing it to settle into his subconscious like a seed finding fertile soil. Day by day, Amos nurtured this spark. He began approaching his craft with renewed curiosity, as though each piece was his first and his last. His subconscious, once dulled by routine, awakened to possibilities he had forgotten existed. The clay beneath his fingers seemed to pulse with life, responding to his rekindled enthusiasm with forms more beautiful than any he had created before. The law of attraction responds not to the length of your years, but to the fire in your spirit. When Amos chose to fan those inner flames rather than let them die, the universe matched his energy with opportunities he never expected. Young apprentices sought his guidance, art collectors discovered his work, and most surprisingly, he found himself teaching children at the local school, their wonder rekindling his own. Your passion never truly disappears. It simply waits beneath the surface, like embers beneath ash, ready to burst into flame at your invitation. The subconscious mind holds no concept of age or limitation. It responds purely to the signals you send. When you consciously choose to rekindle your inner fire, the universe has no choice but to reflect that warmth back to you in countless ways. Ancient wisdom speaks of the eternal flame that burns within each soul. This flame cannot be extinguished by time or circumstance. It can only be forgotten. Yet even in forgetting, it remains, waiting for you to remember its warmth, its light, its power to transform every aspect of your existence. Practice. Close your eyes and breathe warmth into your chest, igniting embers into bright fire. Chapter 20. The Rising Sun Within. In the mountains of a distant land there lived a wise shepherd named Elin who tended her flock day after day in the same meadow. Though the valley was beautiful, she no longer saw its splendor. Each sunrise merged with the last. Each sunset faded into memory without distinction. Her life had become like ashes, gray, cold, and without spark. The truth lies within these ancient words. The subconscious mind creates the lens through which we view existence. When this lens dulls, the world appears lifeless, no matter how much beauty surrounds us. Yet within every pile of cold ashes sleeps an ember, waiting to ignite. This eternal wisdom reveals itself through the transformation that occurs when you awaken the dormant fire within. Your subconscious holds this sacred flame, the ability to see each moment as fresh, untouched, and filled with possibility. When you rekindle this inner light, the outer world cannot help but reflect its radiance. Consider the tale of Grover, a merchant who walked the same streets for 30 years. His eyes had grown blind to the miracles around him until one morning, something stirred in his depths. As he stood at his window, he allowed himself to truly witness the sunrise, not as a repeated event, but as a new creation. In that moment, his subconscious awakened to a profound truth. Each dawn brings forth an entirely new world. From that day forward, Grover's inner sun rose with the outer one. He discovered treasures in familiar faces, opportunities in old routines, and magic in mundane moments. His business flourished not because circumstances changed, but because his inner light transformed how he perceived and interacted with everything around him. The universe speaks through such transformations. When you ignite the fire within your subconscious, even the most familiar path shimmers with new potential. This is not mere optimism. It is the natural state of a mind aligned with the eternal flame of creation. you possess this same power. The cold ashes of routine that may have settled in your life contain hidden embers of wonder, waiting to be fanned into flame. Your subconscious holds the match, the ability to see each moment through eyes of renewal and possibility. Ancient practice. Each morning, before the world beckons, sit quietly and imagine a golden sunrise rising from your heart, filling every cell with warmth. Feel this inner sun melting any gray thoughts, any cold perceptions that have accumulated. Let its light remind you that each moment arrives fresh, untouched, and full of potential. This is the eternal flame that transforms everything it touches. Part 3. The Awakened Creator. Chapter 21. The Diamond Mind. In ancient times there lived a wandering merchant named Hilda who carried countless trinkets and treasures in her pack. Though her wares sparkled, her mind remained clouded with indecision. Each marketplace brought new confusion. Which items to display, what prices to set, when to move on. Her scattered thoughts led to scattered results, leaving her with meager earnings despite her valuable goods. Not far away dwelt Rufus, another merchant whose modest shop contained fewer items, yet drew countless customers. His secret lay not in his merchandise, but in his crystalline clarity of purpose. Each morning he would sit in silence, allowing his thoughts to settle like sediment in still water. Through this practice, his inner vision grew sharp as a diamond's edge. Within you dwells this same power of clarity. Your subconscious mind, when cluttered, creates a life of confusion and hesitation. But when polished through conscious intention, it becomes a perfect prism, refracting the light of possibility into precise action. Just as a diamond begins as common carbon, transformed through pressure and time, your thoughts can crystallize into unwavering purpose. The scattered fragments of your desires, when brought into alignment, form a unified force that cuts through uncertainty with ease. The universe responds not to wavering wishes, but to the focused beam of clear intention. When your subconscious radiates with diamond-like clarity, circumstances arrange themselves to match your inner brilliance. Opportunities that once seemed hidden suddenly catch the light, revealing their presence. Consider how Rufus transformed his modest shop into a beacon of prosperity. He knew that success flows not from endless options, but from absolute clarity. Each decision emerged from his polished inner wisdom, reflecting pure intention into the world. His customers sensed this crystalline certainty, drawn to its unwavering light. Your own mind holds this same potential for clarity. Beneath the surface thoughts that scatter like dust in the wind lies a core of diamond-like wisdom. As you learn to access this clarity, your choices gain the power to cut through confusion, revealing the straightest path to your desires. The practice. Find a quiet moment and settle into stillness. Close your eyes and visualize your mind as a perfect diamond, each facet gleaming with pristine clarity. Feel its solid presence within you, unshakable and pure. See your thoughts aligning like light through its crystal structure, emerging as clear, decisive action. Let this diamond mind illuminate your path, knowing that clarity of purpose always leads to clarity of results. Chapter 22. The Sacred Garden Path. In ancient times, there lived a weaver named Linus who excelled at creating intricate patterns in cloth. Despite his skill, he found himself lost in a maze of thoughts, tangled like threads without purpose. Each morning, he would sit at his loom, his hands trembling with uncertainty, his mind clouded with endless questions about which colors to choose, which patterns to weave. His creations, once praised throughout the village, became dull and lifeless, reflecting the confusion that plagued his inner world. In the same village dwelt Phoebe, who tended a small garden beside her humble home. While others saw merely flowers and herbs, Phoebe understood a deeper truth, that her garden mirrored the cultivation of her inner landscape. Each morning she would walk among her plants, touching each leaf with gentle awareness, listening to the whispers of her innermost self. As seasons passed, Phoebe's garden flourished beyond natural expectations. Flowers bloomed out of season, herbs grew with unprecedented vitality, and visitors spoke of feeling unexplainable peace within its bounds. The secret lay not in her gardening techniques, but in the way she had learned to tend the garden of her subconscious mind. Your inner world operates like these two contrasting tales. When you lose yourself in the thicket of scattered thoughts like Linus, your creative force dims. But when you cultivate your subconscious with the same care Phoebe gave her garden, magic unfolds naturally. The scattered thoughts transform into stepping stones, each leading to greater clarity. The universe responds not to your conscious desires alone, but to the deeply rooted convictions planted in your subconscious soil. Each thought you nurture becomes a seed, each belief a flowering plant. When you align your inner garden with beauty and grace, the outer world cannot help but reflect this harmony. Think of your mind as a vast garden waiting to bloom. The paths you walk within it shape everything you experience without. Your thoughts are not mere musings. They are living seeds taking root in fertile soil. Every moment offers a choice, to wander lost like Linus, or to walk with purpose like Phoebe, seeing potential beauty in every step. The ancient practice. Find a quiet moment as day turns to dusk. Close your eyes and envision yourself standing at the beginning of a garden path. With each step you take in your mind, watch as flowers spring forth from the earth, blooming instantly beneath your feet. Feel the power of your presence causing life to flourish. Walk this path slowly, deliberately, knowing that your inner journey creates ripples of beauty in the physical world. This is not mere imagination. It is the awakening of your creative force, the same power that transforms simple seeds into magnificent gardens. Chapter 23. The Wellspring Overflow. In a mountain village, a woman named Sigrid lived with hands forever clenched. Though blessed with abundance, she hoarded every coin, every morsel, every thread of clothing as if they were her last. Her home overflowed with possessions, yet her heart remained empty, haunted by the shadow of scarcity. Each night she would count her treasures, finding no peace in their presence, for she believed that once something left her grasp, it could never be replaced. Across the valley lived Ambrose, whose small dwelling held few possessions, yet radiated an inexplicable richness. He understood a truth that had eluded Sigrid, that the universe operates from a principle of endless abundance. His subconscious mind was like a well that never ran dry, continuously replenishing itself with fresh opportunities, ideas, and resources. When Ambrose shared with others, his life grew richer. When he gave freely of his time, more time appeared. When he offered his last loaf of bread to a hungry traveler, a merchant would unexpectedly arrive with fresh provisions. He had discovered that abundance flows not from what you hold, but from what you allow to flow through you. This wisdom exists within you now, waiting to be embraced. Your subconscious mind connects directly to the infinite well of universal abundance. Each time you release your grip on scarcity, you open yourself to receive more than you could have imagined. The universe operates not through limitation, but through endless expansion. Think of your mind as Ambrose's well, perpetually full, constantly refreshing. Every thought of lack is merely a temporary cloud passing over this eternal spring. Your natural state is one of abundance, just as a well naturally fills with water. When you align your subconscious with this truth, you tap into an inexhaustible source of prosperity. The difference between Sigrid's scarcity and Ambrose's abundance lay not in their circumstances, but in their inner relationship with universal flow. Where she saw limitation, he recognized infinite possibility. Where she clutched tightly, he held loosely, trusting in continuous renewal. The ancient practice. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and envision yourself standing before an eternal fountain, its waters crystal clear and endless. Step forward and cup your hands beneath its flow. Feel the cool water filling your palms, overflowing with infinite abundance. As you drink from this fountain, know that it represents your connection to universal supply. Feel yourself being filled and renewed, understanding that this source can never be depleted. Let this image sink deeply into your subconscious, replacing any thoughts of scarcity with the truth of endless abundance. Chapter 24. The Crown of Stars. In a small mountain village, a young weaver lived in a modest hut at the edge of town. Each day she created beautiful tapestries that others claimed as their own work, while she remained in the shadows. Though her hands wove magic into every thread, her spirit diminished with each passing season, until she felt as insignificant as a grain of sand. You possess this same creative force within you, yet like the weaver, you may have forgotten your inherent majesty. The universe bestowed upon you a crown of divine birthright, not one of gold or jewels, but of pure, radiant consciousness. This crown rests eternally upon your brow, though you may have walked with lowered eyes, unaware of its presence. Your subconscious mind holds the memory of your true identity. When you awaken to this truth, the world has no choice but to reflect back your inner sovereignty. Every thought you think, every word you speak, carries the energy of either a sovereign being or a subject. The choice of which energy to embody has always been yours. In the depths of night, when the weaver finally dared to claim her creations, something extraordinary occurred. She stood before her loom, placed an invisible crown upon her head, and declared, "I am the creator of this beauty." The very air around her shifted, and the next morning, villagers saw her differently, as if a light shone from within her being. This transformation mirrors the power that awakens when you reclaim your spiritual inheritance. The universe responds not to what you wish for, but to the energy you emanate. When your subconscious mind embraces its royal nature, opportunities bow before you, recognition finds you, and abundance flows naturally toward you. Think of how water inevitably fills the lowest places first. Similarly, those who diminish themselves attract experiences that reinforce their perceived smallness. But when you stand in your full stature, crowned with self-recognition, life rises to meet your elevated consciousness. A woman named Thelma understood this principle deeply. After years of allowing others to overlook her contributions, she began a simple practice of acknowledging her own worth. Each morning she would imagine placing a crown of stars upon her head before stepping into the world. Within weeks, colleagues sought her counsel, opportunities arose unexpectedly, and her presence commanded natural respect. This sacred knowing lies dormant within you as well. The crown of consciousness you wear is not a symbol of superiority, but a reminder of your divine heritage. When you walk in this truth, you need not announce your worth. It radiates from you naturally, touching everything you do with quiet dignity. Ancient practice. As you prepare for sleep tonight, stand before a mirror in dim light. Close your eyes and raise your hands slowly above your head. With grace and reverence, lower them as if placing a crown of glowing stars upon your brow. Feel its weightless presence, its soft radiance. Open your eyes and observe how your posture naturally adjusts, how your eyes hold steady confidence. Walk a few steps, feeling royal dignity in every movement. Let this be your way in the world. Chapter 25. The Rooted Tree. In a bustling marketplace, a merchant named Huldah arranged her wares each morning, watching anxiously as customers passed by. Her shoulders hunched forward at every rejection, her confidence swaying like a young tree in fierce winds. Though she offered quality goods, her uncertainty radiated outward, and potential buyers sensed her doubt before she spoke a word. The universe mirrors back what lies within your depths. When your inner foundation trembles, the outer world responds with instability. Your subconscious mind, that eternal bedrock of being, must be anchored in unshakable truth before your external reality can manifest lasting strength. In the same marketplace, a woodcarver named Everett sat peacefully at his stall. His presence carried the steady weight of an ancient oak. Though fewer people walked his corner of the square, those who approached felt drawn by his unwavering certainty. Even when sales were slow, his demeanor remained unchanged. He knew his worth resided not in daily transactions, but in the depths of his being. As seasons turned, Huldah watched Everett with wonder. While other merchants frantically chased customers or slashed prices in panic, he maintained his quiet dignity. When she finally gathered courage to ask his secret, he smiled and said, "I planted myself in knowing, not hoping. The storms come and go, but my roots touch the infinite." This truth echoes across time. Your subconscious mind must be rooted in power before power can flow through your life. When you stand with your consciousness anchored in eternal strength, circumstances bow before your unwavering certainty. The universe cannot help but respond to one who is planted in knowing. You need not wait for external conditions to grant you stability. The power to root yourself in strength exists within you now. Like a mighty tree drawing sustenance from deep underground streams, your subconscious mind can tap into the limitless wellspring of universal power. Everett's story illuminates the way. He did not achieve stability by changing his outer world first. Instead, he rooted his consciousness in unshakable knowing, and his outer world reshaped itself to match his inner certainty. Where others saw scarcity, he remained abundant in spirit. Where others felt threatened, he stood serene. The ancient practice of rooting. Stand with your feet shoulder-width apart. feeling the solid ground beneath you. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Imagine strong roots growing from your feet, reaching down through soil and stone, drawing up infinite power and stability. Feel this eternal strength rising through your body, filling you with unshakable certainty. Know that you are connected to the very source of all power, and nothing can uproot you from this knowing. Chapter 26. The Phoenix Within. In a village among ancient hills lived a craftsman named Dagmar who carved exquisite wooden figures. Each piece he created filled him with joy. Yet when it came time to release his work to others, fear gripped his heart. He saw endings everywhere, in the setting sun, in the last leaf of autumn, in the final stroke of his chisel. This fear paralyzed him, keeping treasures locked away in his workshop where none could appreciate their beauty. In the same village dwelt Clifford, a potter whose understanding ran deep as the earth itself. While others saw destruction in his kiln's flames, he witnessed transformation. Each vessel he shaped emerged from fire wearing new colors, bearing unexpected patterns that transcended his original vision. Through countless cycles of creation, he learned that endings served as gateways to greater possibilities. The truth beats steadily within you as well. Your subconscious mind knows the eternal rhythm of completion and renewal. When you resist endings, you resist the very force that brings fresh life. Every breath ends, so another may begin. Every night falls, so dawn may break anew. Think of the phoenix, that mythical creature whose story echoes the wisdom written in your own soul. In its most desperate moment, when flames consume all that it was, the phoenix surrenders to transformation. From apparent destruction rises something more magnificent than before. This is not death, but evolution. Not loss, but expansion. Your subconscious mind holds this pattern of perpetual renewal. It understands that what appears to be an ending simply marks the completion of one cycle and the beginning of another. Each time you release what was, you create space for what will be. Each time you let go of an old form, you allow new forms to emerge. The fire that seems to threaten actually purifies. The ending that appears to diminish actually expands. These are not mere poetic notions, but the operating principles of an awakened consciousness. When you align with this truth, fear dissolves. Completion becomes celebration. Endings transform into thresholds. Sacred practice. Find a quiet moment and comfortable position. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Picture yourself as a being of pure golden flame. Feel the fire consuming all that you once were, every limitation, every fear of endings. Let yourself become ash, completely surrendered. Then feel new life stirring within the ash wings of light unfolding. Rise renewed, magnificent and unbound, knowing that every ending holds the seed of greater beginning. Chapter 27. The Bridge of Light. In the heart of a bustling marketplace, a merchant named Tekla arranged her wares with trembling hands. Each morning, she would position her goods closer together, as if their proximity could prevent the inevitable partings that haunted her thoughts. When customers lifted items from her stall, a shadow of loss crossed her face. At day's end, she counted her coins not with joy, but with quiet resignation, for in her mind, all gains preceded greater losses. Yet across the same marketplace stood Miriam's stall, where the air itself seemed to shimmer with welcome. While others saw transactions as endings, Miriam recognized them as eternal connections. Each exchange wove invisible threads of light between herself and those she served. When a cherished piece left her care, she felt not separation, but the strengthening of an unseen bridge. The universe speaks through such contrasts, revealing the power of our inner knowing. What appears as separation to the outer eye remains forever joined in the deeper realms of spirit. Like water flowing between vessels, love knows no true division. The subconscious mind, in its infinite wisdom, maintains these connections beyond physical sight. When you release attachment to the form of connection, its essence remains unbroken. This truth lies at the heart of abundance, not in holding tight, but in trusting the invisible bridges that span all apparent distances. These bridges, constructed of pure consciousness, cannot decay or collapse. They are the eternal architecture of the soul. Look upon your own life. Where do you perceive separation, only to discover that love's presence remains unchanged? The parent whose child ventures into the world finds that their bond grows stronger through distance. The friend who moves across oceans discovers that true friendship deepens in absence. These are not mere consolations, but revelations of the subconscious reality that all is eternally connected. Miriam's understanding transformed more than her business. It illuminated her entire existence. Where others saw endings, she recognized continuations. Where they felt loss, she experienced expansion. Her subconscious radiated this truth outward, and the universe responded in kind. Opportunities flowed to her naturally, for she had removed the illusory barriers of separation from her inner landscape. This wisdom waits within you now. The bridges you seek to build already exist in the sublime architecture of your subconscious mind. They require only your recognition to become active in your visible world. As you align with this truth, watch how swiftly the outer world reflects your inner knowing. Ancient practice. As the sun rises or sets, stand in quiet contemplation. Place your hands over your heart and breathe deeply. Imagine a bridge of radiant light extending from your heart to each person, opportunity, or blessing you wish to connect with more deeply. See this bridge glowing with eternal strength, unaffected by time or distance. Feel the reality of these connections, knowing they exist beyond physical sight. Let this vision rest in your heart as you move through your day, remembering that no true connection can ever be broken. Chapter 28. The Ocean Without Shore. In the quiet village among ancient hills, there lived a woman who spent her days drawing lines in the sand. With each passing season, Ingrid Marie traced boundaries around her dreams, creating invisible walls that grew ever smaller. "This far and no further," she whispered to herself, marking the limits of what she believed possible. The ocean called to her each morning, its waves reaching toward her window like fingers of light. Yet she remained behind her self-imposed barriers. Her talents lay dormant, her voice unsung, her wisdom unshared, all because she believed the world too vast and herself too small. But truth flows like water, seeping through every crack in our defenses. The law of attraction responds not to the boundaries we draw, but to the infinite potential we hold within. Your subconscious mind knows no limits. It is as boundless as the ocean itself, carrying depths of power you have yet to explore. Carlton understood this truth. Where others saw ending points, he recognized starting lines. His awakening came one dawn as he stood at the shore, watching waves erase the boundaries he had marked in sand. The ocean taught him that limits exist only in thought, never in essence. The sea does not ask permission to be vast, he realized. It simply is. With this understanding, his subconscious mind expanded like the horizon before him. Opportunities flowed toward him as naturally as tides, and abundance arrived with the reliability of waves meeting shore. Your potential mirrors this same vastness. The boundaries you perceive are like lines drawn in sand, temporary markings waiting to be washed away by the truth of your infinite nature. When you align your subconscious with the boundless ocean of universal energy, life responds with matching abundance. Think of every limitation as a mirage, every impossible as an invitation. The universe operates through expansion, not contraction. Your natural state is one of growth, of reaching, of becoming. Like water finding its level, your life will rise to meet the height of your innermost beliefs. The ancient practice passed down through generations teaches us to become one with the ocean's wisdom. Release the need for walls and borders. Let your thoughts flow as freely as water. Your dreams expand as endlessly as the horizon. The universe asks only that you remember your true nature. Vast, powerful, and unconfined. Practice. See yourself floating in a vast ocean without shore, limitless and safe. Chapter 29. The Eternal Flame. In a small village among ancient hills there lived a woman named Gunnel who spent her days tending to others while her own inner light grew dim. Though she gave warmth to all who crossed her path, she lived in constant fear that her own flame would one day sputter and die. Each morning she would wake with a heaviness in her heart, wondering if this would be the day her spirit finally faded to ash. In this same village dwelled Rosalie, a wise soul who had discovered the timeless truth of the eternal flame within. Where others saw their inner light as fragile and fleeting, Rosalie understood that the fire of consciousness burned without end. She recognized that this sacred flame, planted deep within the subconscious mind, needed no protection, only acknowledgement. You see, the flame within you cannot fade, for it is not of mortal making. It burns independent of circumstance, untouched by time, undimmed by doubt. This eternal flame is your very essence, the pure awareness that witnesses all of life's experiences. When you attune to its presence, you tap into an infinite source of vitality and inspiration. Those who fear their light might dim are looking at the wrong flame. They mistake the flickering candle of daily mood and circumstance for the eternal fire of being. But just as the sun continues to shine above the clouds, your inner radiance remains constant beneath life's changing weather. This truth transformed Rosalie's existence. Rather than struggling to protect her flame, she simply remembered its presence. In moments of challenge, she would turn inward to feel its unwavering warmth. When others doubted her path, she trusted the steady light within to guide her way. Her life became a testament to the power of aligning with this eternal presence. The difference between Gunnel and Rosalie lay not in their inherent brightness, but in their relationship to their inner flame. While Gunnel exhausted herself trying to keep her light alive, Rosalie rested in the knowledge that her flame was self-sustaining, ancient, and eternal. You too carry this undying flame. It has burned within you since before your first breath, and it will continue long after your final sigh. It requires no effort to maintain, no vigilance to protect. Your task is simply to remember its presence and allow its warmth to fill your being. Sacred practice. Sit quietly and place your hand upon your chest. Breathe deeply and feel the warmth beneath your palm. Envision a golden flame glowing in your heart center, steady, bright, and eternal. Know that this flame has always burned within you and always will. Let its unwavering presence remind you of your own timeless nature. Return to this practice whenever you need to remember the truth of who you are. Chapter 30. The Throne of the Heart. In the quiet valleys between ancient mountains, there lived a woman named Solveig, who spent her days searching for power in distant places. She traveled to far temples, sought wisdom from renowned teachers, and collected sacred artifacts. Yet authority always seemed to slip through her fingers like water. "The power must lie further still," she would whisper to herself, packing her bags for another journey. But with each step away from home, her heart grew heavier, her spirit more weary. In those same mountains dwelled a humble man named Emmett. Though he lived simply, his presence carried such quiet authority that even the wild creatures of the forest would pause in reverence when he passed. Those who knew him spoke of a peculiar light that seemed to emanate from within, as though he carried an eternal flame in his chest. One day, their paths crossed at a mountain stream. Seeing the exhaustion in Solveig's eyes, Emmett shared with her a truth that had transformed his own life. "The throne you seek sits not in distant lands, but in the chamber of your own heart. There burns an eternal flame, the source of all authority and love." He explained how the subconscious mind holds this sacred flame, this inner sovereignty that requires no external validation. "When you recognize this truth," he said, "the world begins to reflect back the power you've always carried within." As Emmett spoke these words, Solveig felt something stir in her chest, a warmth she had always known, but somehow forgotten. She realized that all her searching had led her in circles around her own heart, where true authority had waited patiently all along. The ancient teachings speak of this inner flame as the eternal source of power, not power over others, but the divine authority to create, to love, to transform. It burns steadily in the depths of your subconscious, unaffected by outer circumstances. This flame is your birthright, your true inheritance. To access this power requires no journey, no quest, no distant pilgrimage. It asks only that you turn inward and recognize what has always been there. Your subconscious mind holds this flame eternal, waiting for you to claim your rightful throne. Sacred practice. Sit with dignity, envisioning a glowing throne within your heart, ruling with peace and love. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. Through these teachings, a profound truth emerges. Your subconscious mind stands as the faithful architect of your experience, neither friend nor foe, but an unwavering mirror of your deepest beliefs. Like a master gardener who nurtures every seed without judgment, it brings forth the harvest of whatever you plant within its fertile soil. You have witnessed this through the stories shared in these chapters, tales of transformation that reveal the simple yet powerful mechanics of manifestation. From Linnea, who discovered her visibility, to Florence, who found her inner garden, to Solveig, who realized her inner throne. Each story illuminates the same timeless principle. Your outer world reflects your inner conviction with perfect precision. The subconscious operates with remarkable efficiency, requiring no persuasion or struggle. It simply accepts and expresses what you hold as truth. When you understand this, manifestation loses its mystery while retaining its magic. It becomes clear that you are not pursuing your desires. You are selecting them into being through the power of your beliefs. This understanding brings both freedom and responsibility. Your subconscious creates without delay, matching your dominant thoughts and feelings with unwavering accuracy. When you shift these internal patterns, external circumstances align with startling speed. What once seemed like fortunate coincidence reveals itself as natural law in action. The sudden appearance of opportunities, the unexpected open doors, the perfect timing of events. These are not random blessings, but the precise outworking of your realigned beliefs. The initial shock of seeing your thoughts materialize so quickly can feel overwhelming. Yet this is simply the universe responding to your clearer signal. You now hold the key to conscious creation. By deliberately tending your subconscious garden, polishing the mirror of your mind, and claiming your inner throne of authority, you step into your natural role as creator of your experience. The universe has always been your willing partner in manifestation, waiting only for you to realize your power and align your beliefs with your desires. This is not mystical theory, but practical principle, as reliable as gravity, as consistent as the seasons. Your subconscious mind serves as the bridge between thought and form, translating your beliefs into tangible reality with perfect fidelity. When you work with this understanding rather than against it, life begins to flow with remarkable ease.
If you enjoyed this
and
exclusive
grace.
audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.